Good morning, everyone. I hope we are working. Yeah, looks like we are. Cool. All right. Let me just set things up, guys, because Facebook's been a dick as usual. If you have any comments or questions you want to ask, if you can pop them in the chat box, it'd be really appreciated. Sometimes it doesn't show up in the groups. So if I miss your question, I have to apologize now. I'll get to it as soon as possible. But this way, this Facebook set up everything at the moment. It's not the best, but yeah, welcome. How is everybody? Hey, Glenn, how are you, mate? Yeah, head's all right, mate. Look, I get migraines every now and then, and I had an absolute cracker of one last night. It kind of still is hovering around. Definitely think it's probably neck issues as well, but yeah, I need to take some pretty heavy drugs sometimes and knock myself out because it's far more important to get the health right than anything else. So yeah, I just needed to have that extra hour sleep in, which was quite good. Nevertheless, I'm here today. So yeah, as usual, if you do have any questions live you want to ask, please ask. Hey, Ash, good morning, sweetheart. How are you? Please ask away, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. If not, as I said, I'll message you later on, and we'll answer them for you pretty quickly. I hope all the new people are finding everything easy to get a hold of. If you're not, send a question to us in the success team. We'll be able to answer it for you pretty quickly. So one thing we do pride ourselves on is making sure that everybody knows when everything's on and when everything's happening. If you go to the banner at the top of the page, you'll be able to find most of the live events that come on. So except for today's one, which is late, everything else runs pretty smoothly. And welcome aboard to all the new people that got on the kickoff call last night. It was a really good kickoff call, and it was good to see so many new faces, but also so many really good questions about the program and nutrition. And seems like everyone's keen to get their life sorted, which is really, really cool. Anyway, I will get cracking with Q&A. So I like to do a quick fire 30 questions in 30 minutes. That way I can try and cover most topics in nutrition training and a bit of mindset, and that way hopefully you get some sort of benefit out of it to start your day. Let's get cracking. I might have a sip of coffee first because caffeine does definitely help the migraine get better. How do I stop craving junk food? This is the age-old favorite question. All right, so if in a program like ours, the point of the program is to eat a balanced diet and fill yourself up with plenty of fiber, protein, healthy fats, and some really good carbohydrates. That should be able to help you stop craving most of the junk food because you're going to be full. If you still crave them, keep some healthier alternatives to what you are craving within arm's length. For me, I like to have some carrots and some hummus, or I use cottage cheese with a bit of seasoning on it within arm's reach because I like to graze and snack during the day, and that definitely does help me not reach for the chocolates and corn chips, which are my weakness. Staying hydrated. Most of the time when we're craving some sort of food, we're bored. So, or we're dehydrated. So make yourself hydrated as much as possible. Keep drinking the water. Like as I said to the girls and guys last night, having water in your peripherals is paramount to be able to drink it all day to get you 3 to 4 liters up all day. So yeah, if you can do that and make yourself a little bit more occupied, generally you won't be bored eating. And last but not least, allow yourself the treats every now and then because that way you won't be craving it as much. So if you do like chocolate, have 4 pieces of Cadbury with a Wicked Sister chocolate pudding, and that way you can have your chocolate fix but also a bit of protein and fibre at the same time. Can I eat carbs at night and still lose weight? My word, you can. Your metabolism doesn't have a clock and it doesn't know when you're eating. So you can definitely have carbs at night and still lose weight as long as they sit within your calorie limit for the day. So I don't want you thinking, oh, Coach Mike said I can just go and eat potato chips over night time. Yeah, like you can, as long as it's still within your calorie limit or your calorie intake for the day. I hear what I'm saying, right? So your metabolism doesn't have a clock. It doesn't know when you're eating. It just knows what kind of fuel you've put in your body. So total daily calories matter, not the timing. How do I handle overeating after a stressful day? This is a good one, because let's face it, most of us have a young family. Most of us work for somebody or something, and maybe most of us have a job that we don't like. So it can be very stressful. And when we come home, we're bombarded with kids and chores and responsibilities. And it's hard not to sit down and go, fuck, I'm going to have wine, or I'm going to have beer, or I'm going to have chocolate and something to take the edge off. So the first thing to do is don't punish yourself. Acknowledge the situation and move on. Reflect on what's triggering you and the stresses. It's easy for me to say get rid of the stresses out of your life, because you can't get rid of kids and you can't get rid of a job. But if you put healthy meals in place for when you get home, i.e. prepare them beforehand, or you might have a partner that could be on board and help you out in that instance. If you can have them in place for when you get home, so you don't have to stress about making it or doing it, and it's there for you, that will definitely help. And then find something that can be stress reducing. So if you can go to the gym after you get home from work, it'll help you relax a little bit more, or go for a walk or something like that. That'll definitely be one of the biggest benefits that you can have adding onto your system moving forward. Hey, Deb, how are you, mate? Deb said a question: is it okay to follow weighted workouts that aren't in the app to avoid getting bored with the same routine? All right, Deb. First of all, I'll probably ask the question: are you doing the right workout that you want to do? Maybe you've just got the wrong workout in. So that's probably something we can talk about later on. We'll have a look at what your workout routine is. If you to avoid getting bored with the same routine, look, unfortunately, muscle gain is a boring exercise, because we have to do the same thing over and over repetitively in order to increase muscles. And generally they are the same or similar routines, and they can get boring because you're doing the same repetitive motion. But depending on how many days per week you are training, we can extend it to a fourth day or third day or whatever it is at the moment. But that's something we'll definitely have to have a look at, Deb. And I think I know it's late for you tonight, but maybe tomorrow when you wake up, pop me a message and I'll jump on and we'll have a look at it and see what we can do to make the routine work for what you want. So it could be just that you've got the wrong workout for what you want at the moment. So hopefully that answers your question, mate. But it is okay to follow a way to workouts if you feel like you're a bit bored and mix things up. Like a lot of people, I like them to do maybe a HIIT class or something like that in between to make things a little bit more spontaneous, I guess. But yeah, totally fine. But with what you're saying, I think it could just be that you might have the wrong program at the moment for what you want to do training wise. What's the best way to cut back on processed foods? I think it's kind of like what we said at the start, the very first question. Fill yourself up with nutritious foods. Have plenty of protein in your diet so you're not feeling hungry all the time. If you are eating plenty of protein and fiber all day, you generally won't be hungry. You'll be very, very full. The other thing is shop the perimeter of the grocery store and not the middle, because the middle is where all the nasty stuff is. So fresh fruit, proteins, seafoods, all that stuff, the yogurts, things like that you can really use to benefit building up your metabolism, but also eating plenty of protein. Swap the processed foods for the whole food options. Again, as I said before, finding alternatives to snacks that can make your cravings all right. And I think the other one is to read food labels. Find the stuff with more simple ingredients in it, and generally you'll be eating less processed foods. It's hard because processed foods are great, right? They taste really, really good. They've been engineered for us to crave more and more and more of them. But once we get into the habit of increasing our protein intake, we'll be so full that we won't want to be reaching for them. How do I eat healthy on a tight budget? Okay, really good question. And simple answer is find your grocery store like an Aldi or something that sells products that are cheaper. Now, I shop at Aldi and a little bit at the majors because of some of the stuff they don't have that I want to consume. But the cuts of meat are great. The produce is very fresh and very, very good. So that's where I would start firstly. Buying seasonal fruit and vegetables are going to definitely help you out because you won't be jacked up with the prices. Buying your meat in bulk definitely helps, especially like your chicken or your steaks. They'll definitely reduction in price. If you can buy big packs of the meat that hasn't been cut, you can reduce cost in there as well. Choosing affordable proteins like eggs and beans and canned tuna will definitely help you out in the long run. But planning meals ahead so you can cook in bulk will reduce the cost down significantly. If you're a reactive shopper, whereas you'll go once every single day to go and buy the foods that you need, number one, you'll end up spending more than you need to. Number two, it'll cost you more because you're buying smaller portions. So buying bulk will definitely help. Is eating too much fruit bad for you? Eating too much of anything is bad for you as long as it's within your calorie count for the day. So if you are on a diet and you are looking at weight loss as your number one goal and you're on restricted calories of, say, 1,600 calories a day, and all you want to do is eat 1,600 calories of fruit per day, then you definitely will not put on any weight. But you won't have any other nutrients in your body that will be sufficient for you to survive. So moral of the story is, in moderation, you can have as much fruit as you like. Okay, usually looking for berries and watermelons, they're your lower calorie options. You can eat tons and tons of those. But fruit is really nutrient dense and full of fiber, so it's going to benefit you. But again, it's about your calories in, calories out that's going to make you put on weight. Fruit isn't bad. Everyone panics about natural sugars and all the rest of it. There is better sugar than eating the refined stuff that they shove in processed food. So I would be choosing fruit any day of the week as a snack. What are all healthy alternatives to soda? Sparkling water. The sugar-free stuff is really, really good. Please don't make me argue with you about aspartame or anything like that. I'm not here for that. It's it's proven that there's more in meat than there is in a can of Coke Zero. Unsweetened iced tea, herbal teas, water with cucumber and lemon and things like that definitely help out. Kombucha is a really good one too. It's very low in calorie. It's a fizzy, low sugar option, which is really, really nice. But you can't beat water. But yes, water can get very boring over time. So for me, I like sparkling water. I think that just makes me feel like I'm having a nasty drink, but I'm not. How can I get enough protein as a vegetarian? Eat meat. It's simple as that. Don't be a veggie. Now, again, beans, lentils, chickpeas are going to really help you out. Soy-based foods like tofu and tempeh and edamame and things like that are really, really good. Plant-based protein powders for your smoothies. There's so many of them, earth-based protein powders now that are out there that are really, really good. Eggs, dairy, almond milks, things like that. If you're allowed to have them in your diet, definitely going to be a big benefit for you in the long run. So it's not impossible as a vegetarian. There's vegetarian bodybuilders out there that are very, very successful without eating meat. But yeah, just you've got to be strategic. You've got to be a little bit more strategic. When you're not a vegetarian, it's so much easier. But when you are, you just got to be strategic with the proteins that you put in your body. Do cheat meals ruin progress? Not if you don't have cheat meals all the time. Okay, I would love for everybody that's listening to this to make sure that they have a high calorie meal every single week. Now, I don't like to call them cheat meals because it fucks with your head. It's just a meal in my eyes. For me, the meal itself brings an experience. Generally, it's time with your kids or with friends and family. It's important that you incorporate some form of high-calorie meal into your meal plan per week. I want you to do that. I want you to make sure that you are doing that all the time, because if you don't, what's the point of eating? We want to live a sustainable life. We educate you on sustainability. It's not about dieting for the rest of your life. We don't want that. We want you to make conscious decisions. We want you to be able to say, hey, I've got a wedding coming up and I know the meals are going to be really, really high calorie. So therefore I'm going to probably do a little bit extra walking in that morning, that day, or cut back on having a large lunch and a large breakfast, and make sure that I've got the calories banked in my system so I can enjoy myself and have that stuff, which is going to bring me time with family and friends. So cheat meals ruin progress when you constantly eat cheat meals and you go over your calorie count per day. So just plan them in your week, okay? Have a day where it is like something used to be for us. Thursday nights was chicken burgers and chips, right? That was great. And it was cool because the kids love it when we sat down and had dinner as a family, and the experience matters over anything. So what's the best way to manage portion sizes? Really good trick that you can use if, for example, you don't have scales and you're out, is the rule of thirds. So I always say to my clients, picture the Mercedes-Benz logo. It's three parts of a circle. One part should be protein, one part should be fiber, and one part should be some form of carbohydrate. That's the best way that you can manage portion sizes, eyeballing it. Second one is, I think they used to call it the palm or the fist measurement for your protein and carbs and stuff as well. You can do that. Just get a set of scales and be accurate, and that way you'll be able to dial in on your portion sizes all the time. But look, if you can eyeballs 250 grams of chicken, I'm pretty good at doing it within plus or minus 20 grams. That extra or that minus is not going to really affect it too much. But if you want to be accurate, let's get a set of scales and do it right. Okay. Hey, Simone, how are you, mate? How do I get stronger without bulking up? Hit the weights straight away. Okay. You're only going to start bulking up if you have enough food in your fuel in your system to be able to utilize the increase in muscle mass. If you're lifting heavier weights, you're in a big set of progressive overload, you'll get bulky. Maybe some performance enhancing drugs will help you get bulkier as well. But most of our guys and girls are sort of focusing on the 8 to 15 set range. If you don't want to get too big and you don't want to hit the gym, just do body weight stuff. Functional training is really, really good for that. But if you want to get stronger, you have to lift progressively heavier, and generally that means over time. So you're not going to go from 0 to Arnold Schwarzenegger in 5 days. That takes years and years and years. For what most of our guys and girls want to do, it's just lose weight and get a little bit of muscle mass on their body and increase their strength overall. Just follow that sort of mid-range 8 to 15 reps sort of target in the gym, and you'll be okay from here on in. If you start eating in a calorie surplus, you will definitely enhance your bodybuilding capabilities, and then you'll bulk up a little bit. But don't be afraid. Most girls are afraid to lift weights because they think that they're going to get massive, and it ain't going to happen. That takes a long time and a lot of food. Hey, Kel, you want my chicken burger recipe, please? No worries, mate. Kel's, my biggest downfall has been stuffing up whey and protein. What's the difference between raw and cooked? Good question. Raw gives you an accurate figure as it is before it's cooked. When you cook things, it reduces the weight, so you lose some of the water out of the chicken. So technically, you can actually add more calories on by doing that, because, for example, say the chicken breast is 300 grams raw, you cook it and it's weighing at 250 grams. The calories are still the same. It's just that it weighs less because the water's been cooked out of it. So that's why we like you to measure it raw, because it gives you that little bit of leeway to play with. Hopefully that answers your question. How do I improve my running speed? Don't run. Let's not ask that question. We don't have to run. Interval training is good for running speed, strengthening your legs and core with weightlifting, focusing on form, get your stride right. That'll get you quicker on the running. How do I safely increase my squat weight? Okay, first and foremost, you have to be squatting with the right form. You cannot start increasing your squat weight unless you have the form right. Now, I cannot stress that enough. Form is king in anything in the gym. Whenever you're lifting weights, I want to make sure that you are lifting with the proper form. I've just taken a turn in my lifting career and started doing CrossFit for the last 14 weeks, and it's been a very humbling experience because I've had to relearn different lifting techniques, and I'm finding it extremely hard sometimes to go backwards and do overheads and stuff like that from new because I haven't been doing them the way that they do them. So form is key in anything if you want to get safely increasing. Now with a squat, start by performing them with light weights, but the best thing you can do is increase by small increments. You can't go from a 20 kilo squat to 100. Let's go from a 20 to a 22 and a half to a 25 to 27 and a half, like that. That's the best way to safely increase your squat rate over time. Don't forget your core. Maybe do make sure you engage your core while you're doing a squat. That way you will have fully braced, be able to lift a little bit heavier. But rest between sets is key, so you're not super fatigued when you're trying to increase your weight. But get a PT if you can, to help you with your form. I think that's really, really important. What's the most effective way to train for fat loss? Lifting weights. Without a doubt, lifting weights. A little bit of high intensity interval training will definitely help in between, just for cardiovascular and a little bit of fat burn. But compound lifts in the gym are you going to be your best friend. Lifting weights increases your metabolism, builds a bigger engine, gives you bigger muscle mass on your body. Therefore, you can eat more food, or your body needs more fuel, and you won't put on weight. Okay, simple as that. Combine that with a bit of walking, a little bit of cycling or swimming. If you like to run, do a little bit of running. But let's focus on weightlifting as our most effective way to train for fat loss. Okay, it's all about consistency. How do I improve my pull-ups? Right, pull-ups are a cool thing that take a lot of time to get to master. The first thing I would say is, if you are a bigger person, pull-ups aren't going to be your friend, because if you're, say, 120 kilos, it's going to be really difficult to lift 120 kilos. Start off on the pull-up machine that's there that negatively reduces your weight by counterweights. That's the first place I would start. But if you have lost a bit of weight and you want to do bodyweight pull-ups, I would start with resistant bands first to help build strength. And then from resistance bands, we go to negative pull-ups, which means we jump up to the top of the bar and slowly lower ourselves down, while we also start strengthening our back and our biceps and our grips with some rows and bicep curls and tricep dips and all the rest of that stuff. But anything like that, it's regular practice will get you the results. So you have to be consistent over time to be able to do that and lift. Okay, pull-ups are very hard, and it does take a little while. But once you do them, it's a pretty cool little thing to have in your sleeve. Should I stretch before or after a workout? Okay, this is a really cool question. I think mimicking your move you're about to do as a form of mobility to start before your workout is way better than stretching, because your muscles aren't warm, and if you're stretching cold muscles, it can lead to a little bit of injury. So I would rather mimicking the moves that you're about to do as your warm-up, or some form of mobility work that's going to get the blood flowing to the muscles that you're about to work. Dynamic stretches before workouts, static stretches after workouts. So a dynamic is swings and circles and using dowel rods over your head. Like I said, air squats, mimicking the movement you're about to do. If you're about to go into a bench, doing some little bit of push-ups and things like that, you want to push the blood flow to the muscles that you're about to use. So dynamic stretches are going to help you out. Static stretches, where we sit down and focus on the muscle, are much more beneficial for you after your muscles are warm, which is after your session. So dynamic before, static after. Dynamic is movement, static is stationary. Okay, hopefully that answers that question. Yeah, stretching, warm muscles respond better to stretching. That's what I was saying at the start. So never skip the cool down or the warm down. How do I stay motivated to work out during winter? This will be good for all the Scots overseas there where it's snowing at the moment. Get your ass to the gym. First and foremost, have it as a non-negotiable. I like to make sure that I diarise all my training sessions per week. That way I will not miss them, and they are booked in. They're a priority for myself. If you're lacking motivation, you're lacking direction and goals. So let's set some goals. Like, do you want to increase your lift? Do you want to get a bigger size body for weight loss? If you're finding it hard to get out and go to the gym, set up a home fitness routine or a class or something. Do some form of workout at home. Have a room where that's where you train. so you don't associate it with the TV or anything like that. Like my coach used to say, in winter, there's no such thing as bad weather, it's bad clothing. So invest in some cold weather gear for outside and you're walking. I mean, Sammy that used to live in Scotland. We used to have many a call together, and she'd be rugged up in a winter woolies and a big coat, and she'd be out walking because, as I said to her, there's no such thing as bad weather. It's just bad clothing. So get yourself the right clothing. Buddy up, find a partner that will help you out as a bit of accountability. There's nothing better than getting a text from someone saying, "Hey, where the fuck are you? I'm at the gym waiting for you," and make you want to be motivated. But yeah, just got to remember that the mental health benefits of movement are far more beneficial than sitting on your ass. So stay active when you can. Okay, make it a non-negotiable. What's the benefit of bodyweight training? You can do it anywhere. So when you go overseas on a holiday and you think, there's no gym, I can't work out, you can just do a 20-minute bodyweight routine, and it'll just help you maintain your physique, but also make you feel a little bit better during the day. So yeah. That's the biggest benefit of bodyweight training is we have it. If you're a bigger person, you have more weight, so therefore you're lifting heavier. So yeah, it's great for beginners. It's just something you can do anywhere. How important is hydration for recovery? I can't stress hydration enough in life. Hydration is key for brain health, for sleep, for muscle recovery. It helps transport nutrients around the body. It flushes out toxins. So you need to be drinking water. 3 litres is great. 4 litres is even better. It's hard to get to 4 litres because you're up pissing all day and walking around the home, but it's not impossible. It's like anything in life. If you want to do it, you'll make it happen. Dehydration relates to cramps and fatigue. So if you find yourself cramping up, you're definitely not having enough salt or water in your body. As I said before, have water bottles in your peripherals all the time. I mean, I'm drinking a coffee right now, but normally I'll be having a sip of water every 2 minutes, just because it's in my peripherals and it's a habit. But the other thing we're missing out on is electrolytes, like having some form of salt, magnesium, potassium that you can put into a bottle and have during the day. I have mine in the morning when I train because I feel like I like to taste something when I'm drinking it rather than water. So, but it also helps me recover well. So, yeah, hydration is really, really important, not just for recovery, but also for fat loss as well. What are the signs of poor recovery? Consistent muscle soreness for, say, 3 or 4 days is a good sign. Like generally you'll have DOMs 2 days after you do a big set, but it should only last 24 to 48 hours. If it's lasting longer than that, means you haven't had enough rest or fuel. You're not refueling your body well enough in the meantime. Trouble sleeping or feeling constantly fatigued is another good sign. It just means you need to have a rest day. Just have a rest day and you'll see the big benefits after that. How do I avoid burnout in fitness? Okay, this good question relates to what we just talked about. Scheduled rest days are just as important as scheduled lifting days. If you do not have rest days, you will burn out pretty quickly. I've come from training almost 7 days a week years ago, and I burnt out very, very quickly because I was on a constant state of fatigue and I didn't rest enough. And now that I have rest days scheduled in, physically and mentally, I'm recharging really, really well. When you go away on holidays and things like that and you have 2 weeks off, like it's cool to still work out, but I would reduce it down to 3 days and then have 4 days worth of rest or walking anyway. It'll be quite good. But if you burn out from training, you generally won't go back and train. So we've got to minimize that. So listen to your body. I don't mind you pushing it hard to its limits, but if you do not take your scheduled rest days, you ain't going to build muscle, but you also ain't going to recover as well. So just be mindful of that. How long should I rest between workout sessions? Okay, it's not sets, it's sessions. So generally a good rule of thumb is 48 hours for each muscle group. So if you're doing leg day, chest day, back day, arm day type of routine, then most people will have 48 hours before they hit that big set again, the big muscle group again. If you're doing 3-day full body, which is like what a lot of our clients do, you'll have most of those spaced out. But if you have, for example, a 3-day full body program and you can only do it, say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's not going to be an issue because you're going to have extended amount of periods of rest after that as well. So, but generally for a session, 48 hours per muscle group is kind of like the normal. But sleep, hydration, and refueling your muscles super important with the right food. How do I overcome a fitness slump? You need new goals. You need to master a new skill, or maybe you need to start increasing your weights and your strength. Okay. Most slumps are you feel like, oh, geez, I haven't gotten past, say, 50 kilos on the bench press, but you're not pushing yourself to go over 50 because you might be a bit scared. So it might be time to put in the safety bars or get someone to help you lift a little bit heavier. I find when I start increasing my strength with just the smaller plates, it's an increase in weight, and it plays with your mind. 2.5 kilos on each side can feel like 100 kilos sometimes. So yeah, if you've got a slump, it's generally you're not pushing yourself to the next level when you're increasing your strength. Maybe change your routine up, try a new type of class, or add in a HIIT workout in the middle just to mix things up. If you're focusing on perfection, and you want quick returns, that's generally going to put you in a slump. But remember your why. Why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why are you making yourself feel healthier? Have that somewhere around you all the time so you can have a constant reminder that this is what I'm doing it for. And then it won't get boring. It can get monotonous, like losing weight or training for weight loss can get monotonous and boring because you're doing the same thing over and over again, eating similar foods, you're training the same way, you're doing the same walking routine. It can get monotonous and boring, but monotonous and boring works, unfortunately. You look at most of the guys with the greatest physiques from years and years and years ago, they didn't have the technology we have these days. They did back day, leg day, chest day, arm day, rinse, repeat. They ate chicken, broccoli, and rice because it worked. They walked to get their cardio in because it worked. It can get boring, but you just got to remember the outcome. What's the best way to manage fitness-related stress? Rest, breaks, water, sleep, nutrition, some form of mobility, yoga, routine to help stretch out, especially if you're over 40. Stretching is the next thing underwater. I reckon it's probably just as important for maintaining muscle mass or increasing muscle mass. Mindfulness, meditation is really, really good to manage the stress. So finding things that you love to do will make you feel better than doing things you don't like, which is pretty simple. How do I avoid feeling guilty about taking a rest day? Remind yourself that rest is part of the process. Rest is when growth happens. Rest is when growth happens. If we can remember that motto when we're training and the rest day appears, it's when we're going to grow. Our muscles get time to repair, and you'll get benefit and bang for buck. If you look at Jace has a really good body. He probably trains maybe 3-4 times a week. He's not training 6 or 7 times a week, and he maintains that physique because he's on point with his nutrition. He's on point-ish with his water, and I reckon sleep's probably he'll probably agree with me. And this is the only one that's not super consistent in his lifestyle. But he has the rest days, and he doesn't beat himself up for it because it's part of the process. And he walks every single day, and that's how he can maintain that physique. So it's all about what your goal is. We've got to remember guilt has no place in self-care. I hope, especially you ladies, you need to drum this into your head. Guilt has no place in self-care. Listen to your body. How do I make fitness a family habit? Monkey see, monkey do is the best thing I can tell you. If you are a reasonably fit and active parent and you are doing some form of exercise or eating some way, your kids would generally pick that up pretty quickly. Now, there will be the one or two occasional child that will be very picky and won't want to do things. And I understand. I've got one of those myself. But if you want to make fitness a family habit, you need to start and lead from the front. Second thing is planning activities with the family that includes everyone that has some form of movement activity, whether it's bike rides, whether it's hikes, whether it's some form of movement games that you can do by moving. So planning family activities, getting the kids involved will happen. Set weekly fitness challenges, which are really, really good, like step count, like challenging your kids to how many steps they can get done per week, or active minutes and things like that. Make it fun and inclusive. But as I said from the start, you need to lead by example. Your kids are a reflection of your lifestyle. So if you are leading a pretty miserable lifestyle where you're always negative and possibly hitting the bottle all the time, what your kids are seeing is a pretty devastating version of yourself. So pick things up, start living a healthier lifestyle. Do enjoy a drink and the rest of that stuff, but have it in moderation, and teach your kids about the moderation of it. If you want fitness to be a family habit, you need to lead by example. End of story. What's the key to building long-term fitness habits? Okay, stop starting big and start small. Okay, you can't go from couch to marathon in 24 hours. It doesn't work that way. Start small and build gradually. Sustainability beats extremes every single day of the week. Do things that you enjoy doing, because then you'll keep doing them. If you don't like riding a bike, but you do like swimming, do the swimming. If you don't like weight training, but you like CrossFit, do CrossFit. It's still some form of weight training and movement. If you don't like HIIT classes, but you like, I don't know, spin classes, do the spin classes. It's totally fine as long as you're doing some form of movement and have some form of weights in there 3 days a week. Make fitness enjoyable, okay? You really have to make it enjoyable. Like, so many people give up because they're not enjoying the thing that they're doing, so change it up. Create a routine that fits your lifestyle, not the other way around. Have the talks with your family. If your family's not on board with your change of life, you're going to struggle. Okay, I'm very blessed that my wife is very active. We train together in the morning. It's awesome because we get to spend time together, but we're on the same page. Okay, we eat similar meals. We're very, very health conscious. We bring that up with our kids. We make that a routine that fits our lifestyle. If you do have a partner that might not be on board, you haven't explained to them why you're doing this and why it means so much to you. So have that awkward conversation with them and say, hey, I need you to back me up here, because this change of lifestyle is going to make me a better person. 99% of partners will listen and come on board. There will be 1% that won't, but be honest with them. Be honest with yourself. But the last thing I'll say about building long-term fitness habits is stay flexible and adaptable, because shit happens. Life happens. It pops up all the time. You might have your third session for the gym booked in for today, but all of a sudden you've got a sick kid and you can't go. Don't beat yourself up. Go tomorrow. Or just skip it and have an extra rest day. Shit happens. Life happens. Don't beat yourself up over it. We've got to learn to be able to bounce back. In this journey of weight loss, consistency wins over absolutely anything. But you've got to realize that roadblocks appear and you have a choice to drive through them or sit and wait and mope about it. So it's on you. Anyway, guys, I hope that opened up a few eyes this morning. Morning, everybody that I missed. Hey, Esteban. Hey, Jimmy. How are you, buddy? Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it, mate. And ladies, appreciate the questions as well. Deb, follow up with me if you can tomorrow when you wake up. Send me a message and we'll talk about your workout program and see what we can do to make it a little bit better for you, because I think it might just be the wrong one, mate. That could be all it is. Enjoy your day, guys and girls. Again, apologies for showing up late with this migraine, but yeah, you know what? It is what it is with those types of things, mate. Your health comes first in any situation. So I appreciate you guys waiting around. Jacinda, I appreciate that, mate. Yeah, thank you for that. These are really good lives. There are short, sharp questions, but maybe there's one or two in there that you've either thought about or maybe we're on the edge of asking a question about, and they'll definitely help out. So if you've got any questions you want to throw my way anytime, please message the Success team or message me directly and ask me, and I'll either add it on here as a Q&A question or I'll answer it to you directly. But apart from that, everyone, please enjoy your day. Have a rest day if you